God's blessings to everyone. This is a DGHradio.com news and information news update for the United States and world, and I'm reporter KKH, covering the latest developments across the nation and around the globe. We begin in Washington, where the federal government remains partially shuttered for a third day. The Senate is set to vote on dueling short-term funding plans, but neither has clear bipartisan support. Essential services continue, yet hundreds of thousands of civilian employees face furloughs or delayed pay, and ripple effects are mounting as permits, contracts, and data releases stall. Markets and households alike are bracing for a longer standoff, with lawmakers pointing fingers while agencies activate contingency plans. We'll keep watch on those Senate votes and whether any compromise emerges to restore operations quickly. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a major Second Amendment case out of Hawaii this term. At issue is a state rule that generally bars carry permit holders from bringing handguns onto private property open to the public, like most stores, unless the owner explicitly allows it. Supporters say the policy respects property rights and public safety. Challengers argue it functions as a near-blanket ban on public carry and conflicts with the court's 2022 Bruin decision. Arguments are expected this term, with implications for similar rules in other states and for how courts apply historical tradition tests to modern gun laws. Turning to the Middle East, President Donald Trump has issued a hard Sunday evening deadline for Hamas to accept a U.S. and Israel-backed proposal for Gaza. The plan outlines a ceasefire, the release of Israeli hostages, and a reconstruction program. The White House describes it as a last-chance agreement, while critics warn it skirts core questions of Palestinian statehood and long-term governance. With the clock ticking, mediators in Qatar and Egypt are engaged, and the humanitarian stakes for civilians remain urgent. In that same diplomatic lane, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told President Trump he welcomes efforts to end the Gaza war, but insists progress requires Israel to halt its military operations. Ankara has framed itself as a mediator with regional influence, pressing for expanded aid corridors and international oversight. The coming days will test whether pressure from key regional actors can translate into a sustained reduction in violence and the confidence-building steps needed for talks to stick. Aviation safety is in focus after the UN civil aviation body closed its assembly with a sharp rebuke of Russia over the alleged jamming of satellite navigation signals used by airlines. Delegates warned that deliberate interference threatens flight safety and breaches international norms, urging new monitoring and coordinated responses. Russia denies wrongdoing, but the condemnation underscores wider tensions and the need for resilient navigation systems as global air traffic continues to rebound. To the Horn of Africa, the UN World Food Program says a funding shortfall will force drastic cuts to emergency food assistance in Somalia, dropping support from well over 1 million people to a fraction of that number next month. Aid officials warn the reduction could push more families into severe hunger after years of conflict, drought, and climate shocks. Humanitarian groups are urging renewed donor support to avert a deeper crisis and stabilize communities already on the brink. Defense technology is shifting with battlefield demands. Northrop Grumman is testing longer-range, lower-cost cannon rounds designed to shoot down drones. Technology, the company says, reflects lessons drawn from Ukraine's front lines. Affordable, scalable counter-drone systems are increasingly central to modern air defense and base protection. Analysts note that cost-effective interceptors can alter the calculus in asymmetric conflicts, though they also raise policy questions about proliferation and rules for autonomous engagement. Europe's skies saw fresh drone disruptions. Flights at Munich airport were halted overnight after multiple drone sightings, before resuming with delays once the airfield was cleared. Separately, officials in Germany and Belgium reported unidentified drones near a border area airport and an adjacent military facility, prompting heightened security and new calls for coordinated counter-drone measures. Regulators across Europe are pushing remote ID and geofencing standards, but incidents like these highlight persistent gaps in low-altitude airspace defense. On the war in Ukraine, officials say a Russian drone strike ignited a fire at a large hog farm in the Kharkiv region, killing more than 13,000 pigs and damaging facilities. The attack underscores the economic and environmental toll of strikes on civilian infrastructure, from agriculture to power, especially as colder months approach. Emergency crews work to contain the blaze and prevent contamination, while veterinarians assess biosecurity risks from mass livestock losses. In the Caribbean, the Pentagon reports another strike on a vessel suspected of narcotics trafficking near Venezuela, at least the fourth such action in recent weeks. U.S. officials say the maritime operations aim to raise the cost for smuggling networks and disrupt key logistics nodes. The strikes also carry diplomatic sensitivities given proximity to foreign coasts, and rights groups continue to press for transparency around target verification and post-strike assessments. Back at home, a major refinery incident, a large fire in a jet fuel processing unit at Chevron's El Segundo refinery near Los Angeles was contained after burning through the night. No injuries were reported, and the blaze was confined to one area. The facility is a critical supplier of gasoline and jet fuel in Southern California, including for LAX. Analysts say broader market impacts could be limited if repairs are swift, but California's tight fuel system can see price bumps when a major unit goes down. In Eastern Europe, Moldova's pro-European leadership is moving quickly after a decisive electoral victory, advancing reforms aimed at energy diversification, infrastructure, and anti-corruption while fending off destabilization efforts. The agenda underscores the stakes for countries on the EU's frontier and the balancing act of delivering tangible improvements at home while navigating external pressure from Moscow. These and other issues are of great concern within the issues of the day. We invite you to become more informed and to join in future conversations on the DGHradio.com phone. To join, text JOIN to 1-315-898-1449. Please include your name in the text message. You will receive a call to verify your request. I'm your reporter, KKH, signing off for DGHradio.com. Remember, KKH and DGH, together we provide key facts, keen judgment, and honesty as we deliver groundbreaking headlines. Ciao.